having gone through the sessions in the morning and various people speaking about light, I have what I'm trying to present here is a different aspect of light. As in what I understand the light to be, it's more to do with the spatial formations of the light. When we're taking the cue from Mr. Amardeep, what he explained about light to enhance and light to present in better detail. We all understand light as in what it does, but how it does is very important, and how it influences our perception is important. My presentation about lighting is all about that, and understanding the qualitative aspects of light and how we as a human beings respond to this and why we do so. I begin my presentation with a quote by a very great architect who once said that architecture is masterly correct play of mass brought together in presence of light. This is true for light in any format or any formation of the light. With that, okay, the whole presentation is divided in 4 parts. One is vision in light, human perception, design objectives, and design aspects. Now, considering the time constraints and the audience strength, this presentation was actually meant for the students, so I may have to skip 3 of the slides, and I will do so in order to squeeze it in the time available. Now, first we talk about vision and light. So, what exactly is light? We talked about the light, but what exactly is light and what it means to the human beings? Well, we can have various technical definitions of what the light is, but principally light is nothing but a medium which connects us humans to the environment. And if we try to understand light from this perspective, probably the whole perception of the light will probably change, and the way we use it will also change. Now, of course, it stimulates the sense of vision and enables the perception of the space, form, and rest on. Now, I'm going to skip because this was meant for the students. Now, with this, what we perceive or how the eye functions is much like a camera, where we have photosensitive surface on, and same thing happens with the camera as well. Well, the second part is more important, and that is actually very important particularly for the retail application. We have 2 types of visions. One is the central vision where we are able to focus on a particular object, and second is the peripheral vision. Now, peripheral vision is very sensitive towards any flicker or any changes. Now, the moment we are talking about, where everybody is probably looking at me and there is something happening here, that flicker is very important. It's registered by the peripheral vision. Now, this aspect is very important for retail application. So, all people who are into retail need to understand that the whole lot of perception of the space actually happens here in the peripheral vision. I will show you with some of the illustrations how it works in just slides. Okay. We talk about, now we have talked about light, we have talked about how we see it. Now we will talk about the human perception, how we look at the thing. Now, if we close our eyes for 10 seconds and open it, the first thing that we'll probably notice is either moving, bright, or the combination of both. And this is what happens with the focus selection. That is the first aspect of human perception. The whole human perception occurs in there are 6 attributes to the perception. One is the focus selection, adaptation, accommodation, contrast sensitivity, visual acuity, and speed of perception. Now, when we talk about focus selection, I have got 3 images on the screen. I think this is not working anyway. The first image, all the 3 images of the same space, merely with a different lighting condition, the focus in the space has changed. This is what this is how the light can actually change our perception of the space. Now, brain actually analyzes the whole visual field and takes the clues from it and then reacts. And this is how we perceive any object of intent in the space. Second is the adaptation, which is the ability of an eye to accommodate at different varying lighting levels. Now, this we have 3 visions in that: photopic, and going to the different lighting conditions. Now, this is actually, in that sense, an ability of eye to see anything even at the lower illumination conditions. Okay, when we talk about accommodation, it is basically an ability of an eye to simultaneously or spontaneously look at varying distances. For example, there are some objects here in the front as well as there are some objects at the rear end. Now, I have an ability to focus. Now, as far as retail is concerned, we need to keep this in mind while designing the lighting strategies for some spaces. Both the areas need to have a balanced illumination. Okay. Then one more aspect, as Amardeep was suggesting when we were talking about contrast. Now, contrast plays a very important role in our visual field. The two images that we see, that we have in front of us and the one at the top, we actually see an object in its immediate surrounding and the contrast that is offered by this immediate surrounding, and that is where we as a lighting designers need to keep in mind what is the space offering and what is the contrast available. By doing so, what you can probably reduce is the overall light intensity. Well, the third one important factor is visual acuity. You might have seen this at your opticians at various levels for your eye testing. It's an ability to distinguish between the two objects. Now, image that we have on the right hand side, there are some objects at the far which are multicolored. There are some objects in the front which are again in the same color, but the ability to distinguish and read the for a human eye, the ability to read that farer object becomes easier because of the acuity that is available. It is in the first image that we see here. There are some tailing stacks which are closely put. There are some stacks which are put rarely or displayed with negative space in between them. Now, the lighting conditions in both the cases would be different, or the solution for the same would be different. Based on this perception, actually we kind of judge the space, whether it is distracting, whether it is glaring, whether it is gloomy, whether it is dramatic, and so on and so forth. So this is all about the human perception as to how we see it. Now, once we talked about vision and light, we talked about how we see. Now we talk about what could be the design objectives drawn from this. So there are 5 aspects that I feel are important for as far as design strategy, to develop a design strategy for any lighting is concerned. One is the activity needs. Activity needs is much as what I understand, many people here from an architectural background. It is much like form follows the function, where the activities have to be understood in the sense of whether they are of what nature those activities are. They are critical, they are non-critical, whether they are horizontal, whether they are vertical. Now, a famous lighting designer in 1978 once coined 2 terms. One was a shotgun approach and a rifle approach. Traditionally, we have been following a shotgun approach where we have a space designed or illuminated at a particular level. And today we are finding more of a rifle method where we have tried to identify the tasks in their own merit. For example, the bottommost image, now there is a vertical stack of colors. Even if you increase the whole level of lighting, probably it may not increase the perception of it. All that it needs to have, or all that it needs to be given justice is have more uniform light and have a light which would enable to enhance the whole color spectrum available on the shelf. So this is what I mean by the rifle approach. Okay, there are various types of display systems which needs different lighting solution. For example, you have vertical display, you have monochromatic display, you have horizontal display, and for all these the visual requirements of lighting are different because the activity or the visual activity involved or seeing or perceiving these spaces do change as per the arrangement of the display and against what background they have been seen. Okay. This is a very important aspect. While we talk about the product, it is also very important that all these activities occur in some space, and that space has its own effect on the individual and how the lighting is actually comprehending to that. We don't look at the object when we are in a store. we try to look at the overall experience as to how we are enriched while shopping a particular product, what kind of experience we get there, and hence looking at the aesthetics or looking at the merit of the space that we have, that is available, and giving the right justice to it could be one of the aspects of very key aspects of lighting solution. Here we have two examples where on the lower shelf it is again what they have tried to do is they have created a window which is bright enough against a backdrop which has a lower lighting illumination. Now what apparently it does, it gives us a clear focus on where our vision should be focusing. This is an there we have another example, the second one on the right hand side. There is a church. Now what they have tried to do is they have highlighted only the ceiling of it, whereas they have not lit anything on the lower portion. This is intentionally done to identify or the enhanced effect of giving user an environmental perspective. We want people to engage in the environment. This again is very important for retail application. I think we are running out of time, so I'll just skip this. Well, there is another aspect for which is called as biological needs. So what we have something here is a visual information system where actually our brain scans the whole space and monitors for any changes in the immediate environment. And this largely happens in the peripheral vision I have been explaining earlier. And this is a very critical aspect for retail application. We are happy, or rather we are more comfortable when the act that we want to do or the activity that we want to do is well focused, as you can see in the lower image where the shelf lighting system has been used and the activity or the objects have been focused. These are some other illustrations where typically what the stores would have been when they used to have a shotgun method of having a clear illumination of 1 degree, and then we have more focused illumination on the other side. And there are certain human factors, as Madam had been mentioning, as to varying levels and varying requirement of illumination levels and different preferences for different color temperatures. Now very often what we have noticed in our practice is these preferences are conditional, often conditioning of brain in a particular geographical and cultural background. And that is the reason why we have various clients who come to us with a requirement that okay, we have designed our office at 4000 color temperature but we are not comfortable with this. Can you please change it? Because we are used to with the color temperatures of higher end, and that's the reason people are not really comfortable with. Now, we know, okay, there are certain advantages of that, but there is something called as a conditioning which we cannot ignore. And that's where probably the tunable technologies would help us better. Okay, then efficiency. This is all about technical efficiency. Then I think design aspect I'll just run through in short as far as how do we, okay, we talked about design objective, but how do we achieve it? There are three things which help us achieve this. Is the correct lamp, that is the source of light, using correct distribution system, that is the luminous, and third is the application method. How do we have? As far as lamp is concerned, there are various range of lamps. The important aspects for the lamp, for any kind of light element, actually we need to understand in the light exists in a funnel with respect to the color temperatures and with respect to the intensity of it. Anything out of this funnel either will make the light more dim or it will make it unnatural. These are some aspects which of the lamp are very important, which is the spectral power distribution. Second is your color temperatures. Third is your color rendering index. And I will not go into the detail of this, just to how different products can be lit in a different varying level of color temperatures and varying level of color rendering index. This is an example of it. If you can see the lowermost side, the bakery products, they usually tend to appear better at 2700K. Earlier, when these temperatures were not available, many a times they used red lamps. If I'm red lamp was used a lot to illuminate these products. Okay, finally the orientation. We have various applications of it, like how whether it is general, local, and based on this we select the products. Now of course with the LED is available. When there is one universal such product that it can appear or it can do almost all these jobs. Then of course, then as far as retail lighting is concerned, there are some creative effects, the way we can use it. One is the key lighting, another is the field lighting as you see in the second image. Third is the grazing, as we talked about enhancing the environment. You can have this as one of the tools to enhance. And one is silhouetting. The silhouetting is something what you can see in the last image. Now this whole facade of the building is actually lit up with this light behind. Now that is a good silhouetting. Actually helps us curtail a lot of direct application of light on the facade. At the same time, the building look quite interesting. These are some of the illustrations how the same space would look different in different varying lighting conditions. Now with an added element of color at the top, now this kind of space will something which will give you more experience. Or this is how, these are the aspects which we can, these are the elements which we use to create those effects. And finally, to sum it up, we need to identify the correct activity needs, prioritize the activities, recognize the environmental objectives, understand the biological factors, and assign the correct lamps and luminaires in order to achieve a good lighting solution. Thank you.